This is my second month. I've lost 22 pounds. I have about another 20 to go. The weight came off fast in the beginning, but now not as fast. Where should I cut back on my eating and how much? Would like to know what the serving sizes are for the recipes. For instance, if you're having one of the soups and stews for dinner, how much should you have? Okay, it's a good question. Because it's important for people to know the answer to this. Because we have certain foods that are very low in calories, of a very low caloric density, like eggplant, mushrooms, onions, green vegetables, raw vegetables, tomatoes, broccoli, string beans, artichokes, asparagus. We have some foods that we can eat with a substantial amount of volume that have very low in calories. And then you have other foods that are more moderately calorically dense, like beans. And then you have the foods that are nutritarian foods that are the most caloric density, like nuts. Grains are not going to be as nutrient dense, but they're also more calorically dense. So they're not as beneficial as beans, and they're certainly not as green vegetables. So you're going to modulate your diet to keep up losing 2 pounds a week. If your weight loss slows down, it should still stay at 2 pounds a week of weight loss. If you're not doing 2 pounds a week of weight loss, then most likely you're still overeating. So remember, we don't need half as many calories as people think they need. And so many people eating a nutritarian diet are still overeating. So if your weight loss slowed down and almost stopped, it means you're still overeating food. And you have to modify your meals. Like we said, what breakfast, lunch, and dinner is. Well, you're having one fruit serving with lunch. If you're not, maybe I could have 2 fruit servings with lunch, but you should only have 1. And then you're having a half an ounce of nuts and seeds with every meal in the sauces or the dressings. And that leaves so where are the extra calories coming from? How can you reduce your calories? Well, you can reduce your calories by eating bigger salad, more raw vegetables, eating bigger servings of eggplant and mushrooms, green vegetables, and reducing the starchy component of the meal, which is more of a moderate calorically concentrated food. It's the amount of quinoa or sweet potato or squash or corn or peas or cooked carrots and things like that you would cut back on. Accordingly, you would know which is the really low calorie foods that you don't have to cut back on, so you don't have to eat thimble-sized portions of food. The higher calorically dense food is nuts and seeds, which you keep between 1.5 and 2 ounces a day. If you've cut it back maximally to 1 to a half an ounce with each meal, or 1.5 ounces a day, you're not going to reduce the calories from that by cutting that back further, because 1.5 ounces with each meal facilitates the absorption of anti-cancer phytochemicals. It's good for your health and your brain. That leaves the one food to modulate, to control your weight loss, is the moderate calorically dense food, which is usually the starchy component, which is if you're eating any starchy vegetables, that you would cut that back accordingly. You don't want to reduce your green vegetables. You don't want to reduce your low calorie foods like tomatoes and eggplant and onions and mushrooms and berries. So you'd keep the fruit more moderate and the starchy vegetables moderately, so you can control your calories. So you get to the exact caloric level that you're losing between over 2 pounds a week. Now, it's okay if you're in 5 or 10 pounds of your ideal weight, then you can lose it 1 pound a week or so. You could slow down a bit. And then people aren't exercising appropriately. It's not walking more or exercising more. It's exercising more different parts of the body. They're not exercising their shoulder and their bicep and their tricep and their lats and their chest and their abdominal muscles and their sides of their abs and their back and their lower back and their upper back. They're not exercising all the groups of all the muscle groups in their body and side to side motion and abductors and adductors. And just walking is not sufficient. We need to do the whole body. So you turn every muscle group into a caloric burner, a caloric furnace. Turn your whole body into a caloric furnace by exercising your entire body. There's many different types of exercises, different variety of exercises you can.